Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Checklist, the show that's so close to going live when advertised, but comes out on a Wednesday instead. Which is a bit like when you get within an inch of defeating a particularly difficult video game boss and still end up losing somehow, inspired by our recent calamitous implosion at the many hands of defiled amygdala in Bloodborne's Chalice dungeons. I'm dead! No! We had a chat about some of the other times we've snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And when I say other times, I mean other times we've lost to amygdala, at least for this first entry. Take it away, Dave.
So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with amygdala from the Chalice dungeons at all.
It's too soon, David.
We don't speak of her. I don't know her. I don't know who she is.
Well, I hate to be completely original, but I've got an amygdala story, and oh god, it's just so painful. I don't know if I've ever mentioned, but I should. I'm proud of this. I've got the Bloodborne Platinum, everyone.
Hooray!
Hooray! Thank you very much, Rosie. It's nodding by the others, waiting for theirs.
We will do soon.
In waiting. And I found the Chalice dungeons impossibly hard. No, that's not true at all, actually. So the way I did it was, I played Bloodborne. I didn't play it. I just got through the story one time. Didn't play it again for years, then decided with Nath and our friend Matt that we were going to go and get the Platinum together, so played it again. And so I was playing it on New Game Plus, and I started doing the Chalice dungeons, and the Chalice dungeons don't, scale up or whatever. So the first few were just like so boringly easy because you're just like, lol. But then the Defiled Chalice, how hard can it be? I thought. It's got a great name. It's got a good, intimidating name. Obviously, the big thing that the Defiled Chalice does, the only one as far as I'm aware, just takes some of your health away. Just like halves your health or something. It's unbelievably mean. And the Defiled Chalice was hard. But it was not impossible until Amygdala. And by this point, in our sort of Platinum run, unfortunately our fellowship had fallen apart somewhat. Matt had already completed the Defiled Chalice anyway. He just had the last boss to do, and he was just being nice by coming with us. Nath, in his stubborn, crazy, weird gamer way, he just one night stayed up after we'd played till like 4 AM and just decided to do the Defiled Chalice by himself or something. He was just like a head. So by this point I was alone. And I had never really used the summoning mechanic before, apart from to summon Nathan and Matt. So I didn't really get it. I didn't like the idea of a stranger coming to help me. I didn't really understand it, so I didn't use it. So I got through the Defiled Chalice on my own until Amygdala. And that is not me boasting, by the way. It was horrible and hard, and I hated it. But I did manage to do it just through sort of sheer will. Amygdala is so hard, and I tried valiantly by myself many, many times. There was one time where I almost managed to do it. Not quite as close as you got, Rob, the other day, but real close. Real close. The sort of close where I was screaming in my living room. Like, it was right there. It was right there for the taking. I didn't manage it. And I decided I just needed to summon people. And I don't know what the trick is to summoning. It's probably to go online and ask people for their help. I didn't do, and arranging it. I didn't do that. I just decided I will stand and I will ring the bell. I'd heard tell that people specialise in amygdala, and I thought I'll give it a go. And this one afternoon where I was like, it's happening today. It's happening today. I stood and I rang the bell, and I was stood there for like 15 minutes and nobody came, and I gave up and went away again. I just tried to do it myself. It didn't happen. Another day, same thing. Nobody came. Another day, finally, somebody came. And we tried it, we got like halfway through, not great, I died, I think. This happened like a few times, and I just wasn't getting anywhere. Like, even with these people's help, I wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't sure if it was me. Was I like, should I be staying back more and like, letting them get on with it? Should I be getting up close more and like helping them out? I didn't know. I was really, really frustrated, and the most gutting thing that happened was this one time I rang the bell, and 2 people answered, and they looked amazing. Like, I'd never seen armor like it. I'd never seen weapons like it. I didn't understand who they were, what they were, where they'd come from, the things they'd seen, the
Bloodborne
things they'd done.
angels.
I just didn't know. I was just like, oh my god, this is it. This is it. I've got 2 helpers. Finally, the Bloodborne gods have smiled upon me. And everybody bowed. Everyone was very polite. It was just like, I was loving it. And I opened the door. And she just immediately jumped. Immediately. And landed on me. And an insta-kill. From full health. Just insta-kill. And they were, they were like swinging away in the background. They'd come in, they started attacking, and I honestly, like, I could have cried because, like, how on earth was I going to top that? How was I going to get 2 people again? It'd taken me days to find anyone. Then it had taken me days to kind of like get more than one person. And these people, they just looked like they knew what they were doing, and it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my fault. It was just one of those things. And I immediately, loaded and like rang the bell again, like, please still be there, please still be there. And I got someone, but it wasn't
decided
them.
that you had your chance. That they looked at each other and thought, no, helping that guy again.
And eventually someone came later on. We beat Amygdala. I was very, very happy, but I can't forget how gutted I was to lose like that. To lose like that.
Not like
just,
this.
It's embarrassing.
In front of your
it.
2 cool and new
In
friends.
front of those 2 cool people. Like,
I know.
It's like going to a skate park and seeing Tony Hawk there. And be like, oh,
This is my chance.
here, watch my trick, and then just bailing on the first.
No one would
ankle.
know that Tony Hawk was
basically
there.
what I
That's his whole gimmick. It's just a guy that looks a bit like Tony Hawk that you're like,
And then you go up and say, are you Tony Hawk? And he's like, yeah.
I am.
Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe these guys just looked like Tony Hawk, but actually they were going to be rubbish and couldn't have beaten Amygdala anyway. We'll never know, but it was horrible.
You've done it now, Dave.
I've done it now, and I promise you I will never be doing it again. Thank you very much.
Now, I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of From Software boss battles in this, so I've decided to go for something a bit different, but I have to say, big honourable mention to the Ceaseless Discharge in Dark Souls Remastered.
Amazing.
I love the boss name of that.
The name.
It's Ceaseless Discharge because
It just doesn't stop discharging. It's constantly discharging, ceaselessly.
Can I just say I haven't played Dark Souls, but I have beaten Ceaseless Discharge.
What?
So,
Well,
good
that's
for
the
me.
thing. So, Ceaseless Discharge.
That was a horrible medical joke I was trying to...
I thought you meant, like, you haven't played Dark Souls,
No,
like,
I've never faced it. but I
Whoever's
have
editing
beaten it.
this, you cut it.
I was going to say same, and I thought that'd be too much, but Ceaseless Discharge.
Literally, I had one more hit in it. It wasn't that hard of a boss with the level I was at that point, and it just slapped me down, like, so badly that I just, like, it got me off the cliff, and I fell into the lava, and I was very sad on the day I was looking for
Ceaseless discharge
Celeb.
we're talking about.
This is...
I just took
mate,
some tablets
Ceaseless-
in it. It was fine.
But my real entry is when I was playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, preparing for the exciting Platinum Monday stream we did, and I had a couple more challenges, but I was getting to a point where I was kind of running out of time a bit, and I was fighting Mr. X as Leon on hardcore mode. And, hardcore, I went through, like, pretty nicely. I'd done the game over and over and over again at this point because I just marathoned all the trophies just, like, for the Platinum Monday stream. And this was one of the last things I had to do. I was a bit stressed because I was like, oh god, I'm running out of time, like, I've got to get this done by Monday. And, Mr. X, he's a bit of a tough egg on hardcore.
Tough egg.
You're in... He is a bit of a tough egg, bless him. So you're on, like, an elevator, and it's a tiny little square. It's just you, human Leon, against Mr. X, and his heart's exposed, but he's got a big swooshy arm of fire now, and he's not a happy bunny. So he's like, one swoop takes up half the square arena that you're in. Rocks come falling down, and they can, like, they can do damage to you if they land on you sometimes, or like he'll just attack them and then they explode. Basically, Leon's going in for a rough time. So I was, fighting Mr. X, had my Magnum, my ammo was running really scarce at this point, and I was like, okay, this boss has actually been a lot tougher than I thought, 2 hits and you're dead pretty much. And I was just like, okay, come on, I've nearly done Mr. X on hardcore mode, and there's basically a moment when you've chipped off enough health from him, Oh, and you're under a time limit. I didn't even say there was a time limit. But basically, there's a moment when you've chipped off enough of his health, a cutscene appears where Ada, who you thought she fell down a big hole, but, you know, Ada's actually alive. Oh my god, Ada. And she throws you a rocket launcher sneakily. And all you have to do is when the rocket launcher's there on standard mode, it's just pick up the rocket launcher, one shot, and Mr. X is gone. And it's epic, like his whole torso comes off, and then he's just a pile of legs on the floor. But so in hardcore mode, you have to hit him with the rocket launcher twice. But you know what? I didn't know it at this point. The rocket launcher came down. I just thought it'd be standard mode, and I was like, oh my god, the rocket launcher's fallen down. This is it. My moment to defeat Mr. X on hardcore mode is upon me. And literally, Leon, the game like gets out the cutscene mode into gameplay. Leon goes, where the hell did that come from? And then Mr. X just slapped me in the face. Like, I'm not even joking, where literally Leon just finished his line. I moved a bit to the left because I thought, oh, if I go straight for that, Mr. X is definitely going to hit me in the face. And I've gone too far, like on hardcore. But I was like, right, I'm going to play Mr. X a bit. I'm not going to go for it immediately. But no, just I went to the left and Mr. X with his arm just went boosh. And I was just dead on the floor. After that moment, I just suddenly got worse, just worse at the boss, and I was just getting.
That's how it goes.
More stressed. I mean, obviously, I got him that evening. I got him probably like half an hour later, I'd say. But you know, when you're just like, I was so close to getting it on my second attempt, and now I just keep on fumbling about. Leon's going like all the time from the amount of time he gets. But I will never forget just that one moment. It was probably one of my highlights, probably from doing the trophy runs for Resident Evil 2 remake. Just having that glimmer of hope. The rocket launcher fell down, and Mr. X just immediately slaps me in the face, and I'm just dead on the floor. Didn't have a chance. I had no health. I had very little ammo. It was my only option, but it just the timing and everything. It was a beautiful moment.
You and I are so different, Rosie. I'd find that infuriating. And I'd be angry.
Normally I would.
It's a beautiful way to fail a boss. I love it.
Normally I would, but honestly, it's just the way that Leon just went, where the hell did that come from? And then the sound effects just like just a slap. The music wasn't even playing or anything. It's literally just comes back to game. I move to the left, and then Mr. X just went, boom. And then I'm just dead, and then just the screen says, you are dead. I was just like, you know, just sometimes when you scream, but you can't because the comedic timing was just too sublime. So that was probably one of my fondest memories of being, probably the only time I've been so close to defeating a fight, but I actually found it funny. So I thought that might spice up the video a bit.
Okay, so a time where I snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. Was, and I think this is the earliest memory I have of a full-on gaming rage. It was when I had my first PlayStation. That PlayStation was at my dad's house. I only went to my dad's house on Sundays, and I was only allowed to play the PlayStation before lunch. So I had like a 2-hour window every week. And one of the first games I owned was Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. And it must have taken me probably at least 8 weeks, so 8 2-hour sessions to get to the final boss of Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which is Dr. Neo-Cortex, alongside Uka as well. And this fight, I don't think it's a particularly hard fight even, but I found it super hard, and sort of like the stakes were heightened because I knew if I failed it, then it would be like a whole week before I could try it again. And I must have had like 3 or 4 Sundays where I did like fail. But this one time I got really far into the fight, and the way the fight works is Neo-Cortex is like hovering about on this little platform and he's chucking bombs at you, and Uka and Aku are having their own little fight in the middle, and they're shooting lasers at each other, and you have to jump over those lasers and dodge Cortex's bombs. Then you have to knock him off his little hover thing and spin attack him down a hole in the middle of the arena, and you have to do that 3 times to win the fight. And I was on the 3rd time, and it was the furthest I'd ever been in the battle. And I dodged all the lasers, I dodged all the bombs. Cortex, his shield went down to give you the opportunity to knock him off the ship. I knocked him off the ship, And in that stage of the fight, like everything else goes, it's just Cortex on the floor, helpless, the big hole in the center of the arena, and all you have to do is spin him down the hole. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, spin. And I couldn't get him. It was like, it's like playing pool really badly. I just couldn't pop the ball. Like, he just wouldn't go down the flipping hole. And I was like, spin, and he went to the side of the hole, and I was on the other side. I was like, oh God, I've got to run all the way around the hole, quick, spin him in. I missed again, and I kept on missing, and it timed out, and his shield came back, and his hover ship came back, and he got back on his hover ship, and Uka and Aku came back in, and their lasers went together, and I just died.
Oh,
and
my God.
I learned something about myself that day. And
I like to snap discs.
bad. It was bad, and it was one of many subsequent times when my dad just had to come into the room. I was like, right, that's going off. Go upstairs and calm down. And it was really devastating. A couple of weeks later, I finally did it. But I will always remember that one time. The first time I remember feeling the true rage, like it is like it's a rage born of frustration and injustice, because I felt like I deserved the win. I'd done enough to win the fight, and I just couldn't get it over the line. I was furious with myself. I was furious with the game. I was furious with my dad for not understanding my pain.
It rhymed. It was nice.
But there it is.
I'm gutted for you, Rob. That's a horrible story.
So my most gutting defeat comes before a boss rather than actually a boss fight that caused it. And it was in none other than Returnal. A beloved game, beloved looping game. I actually do really like Returnal, but I feel like I'm going to be disrespectful now because I was really mad. And I don't get mad at video games. But with Returnal, there's a lot of times where I was like, ooh, I can feel rage inside me. I'm going to turn off the console now, like pressing the button for as long as possible. But yeah, it got to a point where I'd actually done all of the bosses, and this took a lot of work and a lot of time. Now, for those who don't know Returnal, it's kind of like this looping game where you have to go through different biomes, defeat a boss, and then you can move on to the next, and there's 6 biomes. And the most you'll do in one run is 3, and you pick up different weapons and gear that you get by defeating the baddies and picking up different caches and stuff and getting different equipment. And it all goes when you die. So if you go through 3 full biomes with all of your equipment, you're going to be really powerful by the time you get to the end slot of one. And this was the second half. I'd done all of the bosses, but there's like an extra bit of ending where you have to go through each of the biomes again and collect all of the sunface fragments that appear randomly. And then came sweet Biome 6. Now, Biome 6 is a water world, basically. It's underwater. It's full of nasty Cthulhu tentacle monsters. I should know their names. I don't care. One is Slappy Tentacle Boy. One is the Ball of Doom. There's loads of horror in this underwater realm of nonsense. And it's a really big biome. It's a really big biome to get to the end of, where you fight the mega boss. And he's dead. I've done that already. Fine, whatever. So I was just looking around for the sunface fragment. Now, in Returnal, you can get malfunctions as you go through, which mess with your suit integrity. So like your health will go down, or it'll be shortened, or your parasites will affect you differently, all that sort of thing. We all know the horrors of the malfunctions by now. And beasts in the underwater zone can shoot you with malfunction arrows as you go through. So running through is really hard because you got like these tracking things. I've tried it anyway, obviously, many times, because I was like, right, I'll keep on going. I'll keep on running through. And every time I ran through, I'd die somehow because I was so weak, because I was starting from the beginning, running all the way through to the underwater world, and then being like, I have no protection and no additions to my suit. I'm just running around helplessly. So it got to the one time, after countless, literally, I reckon hours and hours and hours of me running through. It was like a full day of me just running through this level. Because, when you get a bee in your bonnet about something, you're like, I'm going to prove to you that I can do this game. You shall not better me. I will do it and I will run through. So I was like, right, well, it's been many hours. I'm going to do it. This is the end. and I'd found the Sunface fragment location because I had to look it up online to see what I was looking for to recognise it, and I was like, it's here. It's going to be here. It's here. I know where it is. And I was like, I hadn't really been killing things up to that point, so I still had my little pistol that you start with that's just like pew, pew, pew. So I was like, I was hiding behind all these pillars trying to fight off the fish boys downstairs, and was like, get out of here, get out of here. And then there was one of the big blobby tentacle masters with the hammerhead that comes in and like can run after you and shoots loads of like bullet hell stuff at you. And I was like, right, it's dangerous. This is a dangerous situation. I want that Sunface fragment. This is the first one I've seen in hours. I'm not doing this again. This is the time. This is for me. Run over, run up the stairs, get to the point where it is, pick up the scout log, because there's a scout log there. So I was like, yes, good. Get with the collectible. Get my
Might get the platinum.
And then go to pick up the item, and Celine, God bless her, every item you pick up in the game does this wonderful scanning animation that's like, it's beautiful. It's very like retro, it's very alien. Oh, I love it. I thought, wow, what a beautiful little sweet animation. I love this. I love finding new items. Here, no. So she starts scanning it, and I'm like, Celine, you know what it is. We've picked up 5 of them. You don't need to scan it. So, and you get locked into the animation where she's just standing at it, at the thing there. Obviously, Mr. Cthulhu's in the corner going, oh, standing still, aren't we? And starts sending over all the bullets. So I tried to like stop scanning, and I think I did briefly, managed to take a step back and was like, back in, dodged, it's fine. Scanning again. The scan finishes just in the nick of time. Go to press the button to pick up the Sunface fragment, and one bullet just hit Celine straight in the back as she's like going to do it, and it didn't count as picking up the Sunface fragment. So I just watch as Celine is thrown to the ground, dead on her back. Like, that's it. That's the last of it for me. And I wake up back at the beginning of Biome 3, and I think like I nearly cracked a tooth from how hard I was just gritting my teeth. I was like, never again. Of course again, because, but never again. And like, the only time I got it again, I swore off it. I was like, I am actually not going to do that again. I swore off it and went to capture it for some work stuff. So I went back in, and it appeared on capturing, and I was like, Game, do this to me now. The first time I go through, you give me the fragment. And I managed to pick it up. Sorry, I pulled my own headphones in. Managed to pick it up, and I need to go back and do the proper boss and get the full ending, because it's all ready for me, but like I was just so traumatized by the underwater world and the shooting tentacle men that it was a long time. It was a lot of hardship.
Let us know in the comments about your own painful video game defeats. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell if you haven't already, so you never miss anything from the world of PlayStation.
PlayStation